It's 6-5. You guys are neck and neck. Dale's letting go.
we're banging little bars, dude. Welcome back, everybody. We got Dale Holmes, man. Dale Holmes on the BMX Podcast. And
Dale Holmes. Yeah.
Today's a big day, guys. Oh, man. My voice is a little messed up. I've been sick. I had laryngitis, but I'm here. We're ready to go. Danny, do we need to do the Pena stretch?
Oh, yeah. Dale, you got to warm up.
Oh. We got to warm up.
There you go. There you go. We're good to go.
Okay, we're good now. Thank you very much, guy. We appreciate it so much for coming out talking BMX with this guy.
No problem. And been watching and looking forward to it. Always love a little BMX talk.
An agenda today. We did the intro already with Dale Holmes. Dale's one of the legendary BMX racers from the 80s, 90s, and through today. Dale has got massive history. Came all the way from the UK. Came to the United States to race BMX. We're going to talk a little bit about that, Dale. Kind of get some insight on what was going through your mind when you came out here and so forth. I know you've probably answered some of these questions before, but we're going to really try to dig a little deep, get something different for you today. And then we're going to play a little trivia today, and we're going to talk a little bit about some of the bikes that you've ridden. And Kevin's got some pictures of some of the bikes, and we wanted to get some background on that. Sound good?
Sound good.
And first, I want to talk about BMX Weekly. I want to learn more about it. I watched several episodes, but probably not enough. Dale, tell us how you started, why you started, and tell us how BMX Weekly's going.
Well, I always like media, BMX. We all like to talk about BMX, and before social media and stuff, message boards and with podcasts. I guess I was one of the earlier guys that jumped in on that. I always wanted a name for it, and BMX Weekly was my favorite UK magazine in the 80s. It was it first came out as a newspaper in 1981, and then it turned into a glossy magazine. And it was like the one of the main magazines in the UK during the 80s, and I'm still friends with the guys that owned it, that ran it, the Higginson family. And I always liked the logo. And I asked those guys if it was cool I could use the name and logo, and they were all for it. So that's kind of where it came from.
Nice.
With that magazine, sorry, Kevin, with that magazine, going back to that, Dale, was that very comparable to what we would see in the US, like BMX Action or BMX Plus?
Yeah. We had numerous magazines over the years, but at the start, it was it was first called BMX News. And then it kind of transitioned into BMX Weekly, and then there was another magazine at the same time as well that came out, which was called Official BMX, which I'm wearing the logo here, and that turned into a magazine called BMX Action Bike. So BMX Weekly and then BMX Action Bike were the two main UK magazines when BMX was kind of coming out and really getting popular as it headed towards the mid 80s. So.
Was it like similar to us where our superstars were kind of grown out of the magazines? I mean, that's where we learned about everybody. So I know some writers from the UK just because of doing race reviews and things like that. And I didn't realize you guys had so many studs out there. And so can you name a few out there?
Oh yeah, there's so many. Exactly. It would highlight, the races, the nationals, the international racing, build profiles, and it helped build the sport up. The first round of BMX superstars in the UK, you had guys like Geth Shooter, Tim March, Andy Ruffle, Alan Woods, who we call the godfather of British BMX. And then it was just the start. Just every age group had guys on factory teams, and BMX was booming. Was emulated what we could get from the US, which was limited TV. We'd get the Jag World Championships, and obviously we'd get BMX Plus and BMX Action. And so, it was kind of our version of all what was going on in the US, but kind of building our own sport with our own people. And it was magical time. Me as a young kid being, just seeing all that stuff. It was amazing.
Was it the magazines from the US that kind of inspired you to go to the next level? Because you probably could have made a race career just in the UK, but you came to the US. Was it the magazines, or did you just feel like there was more opportunity over here?
I never really had any aspirations to come to the US, at least the first, 10, 15 years. I started in 82, turned pro 16, which would have been 1988. And I still hadn't even been to the States at that point. I was riding for a team in 1990 called MCS Europe, and which was run by Gerrit Doos, who is, I'm sure you guys have seen his website, University of BMX. He is the European godfather of BMX. He's the guy that actually brought BMX to Europe from the US. I was riding for Gerrit on the MCS team, and he brought us all out to the US for 2 weeks for 1990. So there was guys like myself, Christophe Levesque, Bas de Beaver. Came out with my friend Paul Roberts, who still lives here as well. So yeah, we came out, we went to Orlando. We did a week down there training and riding, in the NBL in that Orlando area. And then we finished up the second week of our trip at the NBL Christmas Classic. And I think that's really, for me, where we really got inspired, or I got really inspired. The minute we went home from that trip, it was like, okay, we need to go back. And that's what I kind of did for the next 2, 3, 4 years. I'd spend the winters in the US, but I still like to live in England. So I wasn't desperate to live here, but I did enjoy the visits and the racing and being, and we was pleasantly surprised, a lot of us Europeans, that we could compete with the Americans. And so I think that's what made us like, hey, maybe we should come back here and put a little time in. And yeah, that was it. But BMX was great in Europe, at least for me. I was thoroughly enjoying living in England and racing throughout Europe at the time. So when I finally made the move, which was 96, I was ready then. I'd done enough, I was riding good. I was already on GT, and it was the right time to move.
That's awesome. Now, Bas de Beaver, wasn't he kind of the Greg Hill on your side? Because his name was pretty well known already over here. So when you said I recognized it.
Yeah. Bas was on MCS Europe as well, and he was one of the top few guys in. It was called Superclass, but it was really pro. There were certain countries that had pro. England had pro and Superclass, which then it would have been kind of B pro. But then the pro class, at least in the UK, came to an end in 1988 due to politics and stuff. So we all merged together, and then it became Superclass. And Superclass was already happening in France, Germany, Holland. So even though it is Superclass, it basically is European pro. And yeah, Bas was one of the main guys.
That's what I was going to lead to next, because I know I've seen so many races, and I always saw, like at the World Championships, for example, like in Whistler, they had Superclass. And I'm like, what's Superclass? And then I noticed it's just all foreign riders, and you're saying that was essentially just pro.
It would get confusing a little bit at some of those World Championships around that time, because the Superclass guys would come to the Worlds, but they'd still have the option like, hey guys, do you want to stay in your own class, or do you want to go against the Americans and race pro? So some guys would filter up and race pro, but a lot of guys would stay in Superclass. Just obviously it was not everybody thought they was ready to race against, the legends of the sport, the Americans. So it kind of took a while till it all kind of blended together,
That's awesome. Hey, Kev, you going to go next? Otherwise, I'm going to keep asking them questions.
Keep going.
All right. So I did write down a few things here, about you. I think you answered it already. You said you turned pro at 16. I was going to ask you about what age did you feel you were ready to turn pro? So it was Superclass you turned, or was it considered pro when you turned 16?
In the UK, the pro class actually ended as I turned Superclass. So we could see that the pro class in the UK was kind of demising and going into like 87, 88. A lot of the big names were dropping out and retiring and moving on with their life. And the competitive riders were sticking in Superclass. So yeah, I moved into Superclass, and then it kind of ate up the pro class anyway, and then became the main category in the UK. And like I said, it was already happening in Europe anyway.
Go ahead, Kev.
So you came to the U.S. to the Florida race when you were pro, or were you still an expert at that time?
I was Superclass, so I turned in 88.
Okay.
So when we came out to the US, I raced in Superclass at the NBL Christmas Classic. So I raced Pro Open, was the first time, I got to race, some of the big names, at least in the US. I'd raced a few of them when they came to Europe over the last couple of years. But I raced actually, NBL Superclass when I was there. So I was racing like Todd Lyons, Bernard Gant, BJ Gant, Tony Sanaka. And there's a whole bunch of Europeans there as well. Like I say, Bass and myself, Barry McManus, Craig Reynolds. So it was a pretty good class when we came out here.
How was it when the U.S. guys came over to Europe, to England? I mean, were you guys like, oh, we're gonna spank these guys, we can't let them win? Was there a rivalry, or was it friendly?
No, I mean, as I say, the early 80s, I was still a kid. So I was like, oh my God, Eddie King's here, Mike Miranda's here. They all came over for the Kellogg's, which I'm sure you guys have seen plenty of footage of the Kellogg's. Yeah. So that was the kind of, Andy Patterson was probably the first guy I saw. He came over to the UK and he was here in 83, 84. And then a whole bunch of the Americans came over for the Kellogg's series, which was 84 and 85. And I was still, 12, 13. So yeah, it was amazing. The CW team did come out in 84 and there's some amateur guys there. There's Jarrett Justice. And there's a guy that was the age group below me that was pretty impressive, a guy called Aaron Sally. Unfortunately, I heard he passed away, but when he did come to the UK, he was, it was an amazing. So no, we never ever thought, we were better than the Americans. I didn't even think I could even, even in 1990 when we came out, I still was very unsure where I'd stack up, and definitely not even at the AA Pistol Pete Gary list. I didn't even think that. Just at least Superclass was a good class.
You're about 58, right? About the same age as me.
Younger.
54.
You're same age as Danny. Okay.
Yeah.
If I'm on the gate, or if I'm in Azusa or Monrovia or whatever the case may be, and I'm in practice, and a 15, 16-year-old expert comes from England or another country, I'm thinking, oh, hell yeah, man. I got to take care of this guy fast. I just thought that might have been the same thing in England if one of our guys went over there.
No, we had, I obviously went through the magazines I was reading, and I was reading up on, I probably knew more about the amateurs then from, what we talked about, BMX Plus, right. BMX Action. The first time I raced an American was the 1986 World Championships, which were in Slough in England. And in my class, there was Shan Hatfield, who was on GT at the time. And me and Shan had some good battles during that weekend. It was kind of the same level, I would say. And also there was Brad Birdwell. He was in Cruiser. He was a year older, but I raced him in Cruiser. And he was fast.
The Murray guy, wasn't he, Brad Birdwell? He
was, East Coast guy on Murray. Yeah, I think he was one of the top NBL guys at the time. What I was really, looked up was a couple years older because Eric Carter was there. So you had Eric Carter, Dave Cullinan, were in 16 expert, and then there was Charles Townsend. And obviously the American pros were there as well, but I'd seen a lot of those guys already. But to see Charles, Todd Corbett, Shelby James was there, even though he was a little bit younger than me. Obviously, he was very impressive to see him. So that was kind of my first, at least seeing American amateurs. And then, I still had no desire to come over here and race. I was working a little bit, when I turned pro in England, Superclass 16. I was still enjoying being 16, chasing girls and drinking beer at the weekends. So there was no real desire to come. And even when I did come to the Christmas Classic, it actually took me another couple of years before I came back, so it was, and racing was good in Europe. It was very competitive. When, moving into the 90s, when the Americans did come over and we all raced together, a lot of the Europeans, I know, we could, I wouldn't say I could make the mains, but people like Bas de Beaver, Christoph, a guy called Wilco Grunendel, Phil Hugendorn, a Dutch guy. There's a bunch of those guys that took wins from some of the big names from the US as well, going into the 90s when they came over.
Nice, dude. All right, Danny, I interrupted you. Go ahead, bro.
No, it's our show, dude. So you did mention that coming to the US was never really a goal. It just kind of happened. Because I was going to ask you, was that your ultimate goal to get here? But you kind of already answered that. But what I do like about it, though, is I think you were really coming up in the 90s, and you were in the mix of a lot of things. And when did you nail down that world championship? What year was that?
I won the Brighton Worlds in 1996, but I'd previously came second, which was a big deal for me. In 1993, I got second behind Gary Ellis in Holland. And that was maybe that was kind of a light bulb moment as well for me there, getting second behind Gary. Charles Townsend was third. And so that's where maybe that was kind of like, I'd already been to the US, 2 or 3 times by then, but that's when I'm like, I need to look into this maybe a little bit more. So I went out again for the winter, 94, 95, spent a bit longer, probably 3 months, both those times. And then by the time I won the Worlds in 96, and I was, I was already ready to go. Bags were packed, and within 2 weeks, I was over in California.
Did you feel any intimidation at all from the bigger pros? Because I know you're a very athletic guy, but you're not the tallest guy. So did you feel any intimidation from something like Charles Townsend and Pete Loncarebridge? These guys are huge.
Yeah, no, I had ultimate respect, and I wasn't like intimidated like that. Yeah, I definitely had some ins and out with Townsend, as everybody did. I think if you're battling and talking a little crap with Townsend, then you must be riding okay. So always had the high respect for all those guys. And my goal wasn't to come to America and be the man and win. My goal was to come here, put it in the mains, get some podiums, and then as I got a bit more established, maybe a couple wins here and there, I was good with that. I don't think you can just come to America and say, I'm coming for the title. I don't think anyone's really done that, and at least said that. I always knew there was a Levesque and a bit later Allier and a few guys that would probably that were real like contenders a minute. Even Christoph, it took a while, but by the time Thomas Allier came here, he was getting off the plane and he was going to be a contender straight away. Everybody knew who he was, and I think he was ready as well.
I used to like watching Kamas because that guy had a brutal first straight. I was like, damn, he's so strong. And same with Levesque. And I think, didn't Levesque have one of the best contracts ever with, I think it was Specialized Bicycles? He had a pretty big contract with them, right?
Yeah. I think we caught that wave of the mid-90s when it started to get good again. I think a lot of people have already said it on podcasts and interviews. When the X Games came in, a lot of these outside sponsors coming in, even though BMX racing wasn't really, in the X Games. I know it was a couple of years later in the 2000s, but I think we benefited, being on teams like GT and Haro that would have Dave Mirror, and obviously GT had a huge mountain bike and freestyle presence. So I think racing definitely, with the magazines as well, I think we definitely piggybacked a lot of that stuff that helped bring it back up again, in the mid-90s, moving towards 2000s.
Did you dabble at all in the Vans Triple Crown?
I did the first one in Woodwood, which was...
That was scary.
Yeah, no, I did it, and it took me, we was there the whole week. I think we raced in South Park or Evansville, Indiana the week before. So we stayed there and went to Woodwood a week early. And let me tell you, I was there. It took me 3 days to get around that track. I was absolutely,
wow.
I think I always had a good race head and stuff, but that place really, freaked me out. I did race. I got to the quarters. I crashed in the quarters, but I actually wasn't, myself and Levesque crashed in the first turn in the quarters while I was running first and second. So as the motos got on, I actually got confident, and it's a shame I didn't crash in the quarters, because looking back now, I think I might have had a chance at least making the main, but it wasn't my thing. I went to the next one, which got cancelled. It was, I can't remember where it was, somewhere, mid-country that got, Wisconsin or somewhere, that got rained out. But even by then, I knew it wasn't my thing. I definitely caught a bit of flack for it. But at the same time, I was getting towards 30 already when that was coming in. And, I was riding for Nerve at the time. And that's when Kyle Bennett kind of got spotted, or we saw Kyle Bennett, who was only an A Pro at the time, really gaining some momentum during these 2 or 3 Vans Triple Crown. So as I went down to Nerve to kind of, tell him what I felt about it and stuff, and I said, look, I don't think this is for me, but let me focus on World Championships and AA Pro. I still think I can win races, and I still, the World Championship has always been a big thing for me, and I think I want to go for that again. But maybe you guys should sponsor Kyle Bennett to be the downhill Triple Crown, guy, because he's really good at that, and I'll cover the AA stuff. So that's what they did, and I think Ellis kind of had that already on his mind as well to have Bennett involved. So Kyle Bennett got on Nerve, obviously excelled at all that stuff, but then, you know, within 2 months of being at Nerve, he won the AA Pro at the Grands, and then he just turned into the Kyle Bennett. So I'm like, great. So now I got a guy that's already better than me at Triple Crown, and now he's obviously already above me in AA already, you know. So, but Kyle was a great kid, so full respect to him, you know.
Go ahead, Kev. I know you're going to say something.
You know, this is the prime time to talk about Nerve, man. So Dale, I told Danny yesterday the story about my loose relationship with Nerve through my brother, and he was kind of shocked. I never told him the story before, but my brother was like employee number one in Nerve and designed all the bikes. Were you riding a rail at the time? Or
I was.
Yeah.
It was short. You know, we started out with the rails, so I used that for about 6 months, and then obviously after, I can't remember what the top tube was. It was only like 20 or something, right? It was short. The bike was good, you know, but it was just too short. So what we did is we took my old GT, a Billy Griggs. It was called an XL Plus. It was kind of in between a double XL and an XL, and a lot of us used it at GT. So we basically took that GT frame, and then we got like 6 or 7 of those made, and then obviously turned that into a Nerve, which ended up, you know, I ran that bike. Kyle Bennett used it, and then Christian Bessarin was on the team as well. So we all used that one, but we did use the rail. Oh, I used the rail for
That's hilarious, dude. I remember when my brother left GT, and they were trying to come up with a name for that company, and we would talk all the time, and he said, "We're trying to come up with a name for this company." And I remember when they came up with Nerve, he told me, he goes, "We're going to call it Nerve with an I." I'm all, okay, cool, dude. And they used to sell surfboards, skateboards, snowboards, I think, and BMX bikes.
Because obviously it was around the .com, and I think that's where a lot of the investors was coming in. Obviously, a lot of people from GT came over to Nerve. They sponsored. There was a snowboarder. They sponsored a top snowboarder, a skater. The freestyle side, we had Mike Laird, who was he was kind of like Dave Mirrors, kind of one of his guys. And Laird got third at X Games in street, so he was good. And then later on, we brought on Stephen Murray to be our dirt jumper. So we had we had quite a team. But yeah, they were sponsoring people in all kinds of stuff.
I Steve Murray was on Nerve. Wow.
He was the one that got injured, correct, with the spinal injury?
Yeah.
Yes. Steve, Steve's a good friend of mine still. Yeah, he got unfortunately paralyzed neck down. He was actually on GT at the time, or it was maybe even after GT. But yeah, the Nerve thing had already ended for Steven when he got hurt.
Wow, dude. So you enjoyed your time on Nerve?
I did. Yeah, it was great. I lived just up the street from there. We're on the same street, and I knew some of those guys. Like I say, Doug Martin was the marketing guy, and I knew Doug because he came from GT. Gary Ellis was our team manager, which was pretty fun, you know, and amazing. But
I have a bone to pick with my brother. As soon as this ends, I gotta call my brother and say, "Why didn't you ever tell me that Gary Ellis rode for Nerve, dude?"
Yeah, it was really cool. You know, Gary had just retired, you know, 99, and we started Nerve in 2000. And
so he was the team manager, not a rider.
Yeah. So Gary would come to the races, and he would, you know, do all our travel and stuff, and it was great. I already knew Gary from GT, but it was really good to hang out with Gary, not in a race, you know, environment for him, you know. So he shared some great knowledge, and just Gary's still a friend now. Just always been a great guy, you know.
Yeah. I'm sorry, guys. Go ahead, Danny. I'm going to turn it over to you, man. I'm breaking up.
I did have a question going back to the Vans Triple Crown. So Dale, we're about the same age. So obviously, by the time Supercross BMX and the UCI thing took off, you were already like aged out as far as being a pro. Not that we're old, but too old to race elite pro. So do you think if you were from this generation, you would have evolved to that? And how do you feel about the separation of UCI, Supercross, and USA BMX? I mean, how do you feel about that? Would you pursue both, or what do you think?
Well, Supercross, when it got word it was going to be in the Olympics, that was actually the years I was retiring. I stayed double A to 2006, and I was 35 when I retired from double A. So that's kind of when the UCI, the Big Hill, kick started. British Cycling at the time was supporting me on top of everything I was doing in the US, and they obviously got it more, serious, or more funding was involved once they got in the Olympics. So they asked me if I'd like to stick around and try and kind of help mentor some of the young kids coming up. But obviously that mean carry on racing into my obviously at 36 onwards, and then add in Supercross. And I didn't want any part of it. I wanted to do some mountain bike stuff that I'd already started doing. I'd already kind of planned my exit, get into mountain biking a little bit more, because my sponsor at the time, Free Agent, had KHS. So they had a big mountain bike presence already. So I raced 4Cross for a year then, and then kind of eased back into stuff with Free Agent, like team managing and stuff. So yeah, even though I was there when it all started and happened, and I was at the races with the guys on Free Agent, I had no desire to want to do it. And it now, if that had happened 10 years earlier, then I would have, done whatever it took to make that switch over. I just thought for the Vans Triple Crown, I was close to 30. Nobody really knew how long, if it was going to be around. There was a lot. I was worried. Like everyone's like, this is going to be the future. This is the way it's going. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, for me, I didn't want to risk injury, going into my 30s and stuff, and I knew there was enough good racing going on, ABA, MBL, UCI, Europe, that I could still, probably get a couple more years out of it, even if Vans Triple Crown was going to be the future for everybody.
You had a pretty good Vet Pro career, though. I watched you race Vet Pro several times. I've seen you race at the Silver Dollar Nationals in Reno on Vet Pro. You were smoking. And then I was at Roseville. I think it was a summer national. I forgot what year. But you were racing. You and Chad Street were going at it in Vet Pro. And I was like, damn, Dale's still hella fast. And, that you must have been mid-30s by then, late 30s by then. Did you want to go for a Vet Pro title, or was that just not really your focus?
Well, my main focus was to be the team manager at Free Agent. My job was to be the team manager, but they said, feel free to race as much as you want. So
okay.
I think Reno was my first race. You have to be at a year at double A to do vet. So I was busy doing mountain biking, and then I jumped back in and did some vet stuff. It was fun. I think Jason Carnes was kind of the big guy at the time.
Right.
And then people were coming and going all the time, so I never really, I did get the NBL vet title. I don't know when it was, just like 10 or 11. It was a shorter season, and Maris was here on Free Agent, and he was really going for NBL. So I traveled with him to all the races, or the whole team did. So I gave, the NBL title a run. I think the first year I missed out to Ken Fallon, and then I won it the second year. I was up for an ABA vet title one year. It was between myself and Ken Fallon. He really did have the edge on me that year. And he had a little bit of a points. I think I needed, him to mess up at the Grands, or I needed 2 or 3 spots in between. And I knew it was only really me and him, so I decided not to even go to the Grands. It's like, I didn't even bother. Grands was never I always seemed to get sick there, or I get burnout and stuff. And Ken was a little bit faster. So I thought, I'm not even going to put myself in the situation of going for this title in my later 30s. And so I didn't really go. So no, I got an NBL title. I didn't get an ABA or, USA BMX, but I did win Masters at the Worlds in 2008 in China.
Nice. Now, you've mentioned the name, and I got to go back to this. How did Free Agent acquire Maris Strombergs? Because he was the man at the time, right? A gold medalist. I mean, he's a double gold medalist. So how did you guys land this guy?
Well, let's say my job was more for, team manager first, racer second. So Maris, we'd all watch Maris win the first Olympics in 2008 in China. And I would expect everybody's going to reach out to this guy. He's going to be in America pretty quick. So I didn't jump on anything. And I said to my boss, is it okay if I approach this guy from Latvia? I'd already heard on the grapevine he was thinking of coming to the US just to kind of see where he's at. So I messaged Maris or I emailed him and I was like, hey, I'm sure you're already locked in with somebody, somebody's, Haro or GT, somebody's probably already snapped you up. What's your status on coming to America and sponsors? It's like, well, nothing's finalized. I don't really have anything solid right now. And so I went back to my boss and like, let's put an offer in for this guy. And so we signed Maris up. He came and lived with me for the first year. I kind of showed him the ropes on in Marietta, Kevin.
Yeah.
And Maris lived with me for a year, and I kind of went to the races with him, and just kind of help him kind of get situated into the U.S. Just with the this is how you do taxes. This is our visa lady. She's going to help you do all the immigration stuff. So it was cool.
Oh, because you experienced it already coming to the U.S., so it was easy for you to walk him through the process.
Yeah, we were. Yeah, go ahead, Kevin.
No, that's my sign to Danny that I want to go next.
Okay. And go ahead, Kevin.
I'm going to ask a stupid question, and please forgive me. Was the free agent limo still a thing when you were on, or was that long gone?
No. Free agent limo. Obviously, it wasn't like the '80s limo, that we all saw in BMX action and stuff. But the same name. When I got the free agent limo, it was a very basic, stock standard bike, but it was very close to the Nerve, which was copied from the GT. So that the geometry on it was very close to what I used already. So I used the bone stock free agent limo the majority of my time during free agent.
Oh wow! So did free agent ever care that people were stealing their bikes and putting different stickers on them?
Well, my free agent was under KHS, and that was different from the 80s free agent. Right. I don't know exactly what happened. KHS, I don't know if they bought it from, I think it was Yvonne Shoop.
Yeah.
It was different. Yeah, it was a completely different free agent to the 80s one. Yeah.
I just thought you might have known if free agent cared, because I asked Mr. Patterson if he cared that people took the Patterson and put different stickers on it. And he said, absolutely not. So I was wondering if free agent cared.
Yeah, I know a lot of people used the limo back in the 80s, but by the time I was on free agent, it was, it was a stock standard bike. Yeah.
Well, so Danny, Shane's bike is a limo, right? The free agent limo.
Yeah, he's got the 80s version.
The 80s version.
He has the first generation, not like when Dale came in. That's the next generation of free agent. Yeah.
Got it. Okay. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
To get into your mind a little bit here, if you don't mind, Dale. So you're Dale Holmes, factory pro, and you were one of the best that did it. How did you overcome like the butterflies and the fear and all that when you were in staging? How did you calm yourself down? How did you mentally prepare for a race?
I think I as we all did, we're all the 80s BMX kids here. Just by racing so much, I think it was just kind of money in the bank. I'd race as much as I could as a kid. Sorry. So I think just like anything, really, the butterfly things never really goes away. You're always nervous. It's energy. I think if you're not nervous, you don't probably care. Mm-hmm. I think it's something I was always able to handle. I think I was more nervous living in Europe, because when I raced in the UK and in Europe, at least as I got into the 90s, I really wanted to win, and especially in the UK, I had some rivalries with, a lot of guys from amateur right through to super class. And my goal was always to win and be number one in England. And then same in Europe a few years later. When I did come to the States, like I said earlier, it wasn't all about, I got to be the man, I got to win. It was just like, be consistent, thirds and fourths is okay. And it's always a bonus if, I can grab a win here and there. So I didn't put the pressure on myself to win. The pressure I put on myself was to be consistent, to be, to be a regular in the mains and grabbing some podiums. And so maybe I took that little bit of pressure off by maybe thinking like that,
Repetition, just racing over and over and over.
We raced so much, you couldn't really have a bad weekend then dwell on it for a month. We were already, back on the plane on Thursday going to the next race. So I learned how to, which was being around, the GT guys, Danny Nelson, Greg Romero, Gary Ellis, the Mike King, Townsend, just how you had to turn stuff around so quick from lap to lap to to today, from Friday, from Saturday to Sunday to the next week in another city racing somewhere else. So I think I adapted, and I really like that style of racing as well. Just like a lot of racing, and a lot of opportunities.
Yeah. When you're on the gate, Dale, are you visualizing yourself getting to the first turn? Are you picking your line while you're on the gate, or is it just go and then hope for the best?
I try and think now a lot what I was thinking then. I think different times in my career, at the start, you're excited, you're young when you're coming into the pro class, and then you want to be consistent. And then at the end of your career, you're just trying to, man, can I squeeze in a couple mains here and there? So that it changes, I think, during your career as a pro rider. I didn't think too much, and I think that's maybe why I was good. I didn't overthink things. I was confident in my ability. Obviously, there's days or weekends where you just, you don't have that confidence. But I think the more I raced and the more confidence I could get, I was around the fast guys all the time, at least, in training, living in Southern California, Huntington Beach. So I was kind of knew where everybody else kind of stacked up anywhere. And I knew I always had a good race head. So even if I was getting smoked to orange on Wednesday night by, Levesque, Allier, Neil Wood, the Fosters. I knew when it come to racing, I would always step up a little bit, and I could put myself in the third and fourth, whether that's first moto or sometimes, third or fourth for the day. So yeah. I think just the consistency was always good. And going back to your question, I don't think I thought too much, So I didn't overthink things. I always kept things very basic, and I think that's helped me in the long run.
I like the not overthinking it, because I was only ever amateur, me and Kevin both. So overthinking it has always been my worst enemy. Like, oh, what if this guy gets over on me? How am I going to get? I need to get that first corner first, and I can't get pushed high because I'm the smaller rider. I'm going to go over. I used to think all these things.
Yeah, too much.
It would just get me so frazzled. Then the gate, when I blow my gate sometimes, and so I know that. Some days when I would race and I wasn't thinking much about it, and I just felt super confident, and more or less I was just having fun that day, those were my best race days, because I wasn't overthinking it. Yeah. I
think that's a key part. I think when you're having fun and it's flowing, if you're not thinking too much, but you can definitely overthink it, and like what you said, and talk yourself right out of it into a mistake. So you can't always. I couldn't always do it the way I wanted to, but when I was riding good and being consistent always helped. But there is days where, you'd freak yourself out over something and it wouldn't be a good day. But in general, it was, keep it basic, be confident. I was very confident within myself, my riding. And I think that helped, for a long, good, consistent career.
Did you ever go back and rewatch your races and like watch tape and go, oh, I blew that, or I blew this, or was that really not a thing back then?
Not at the time, no. It was what now the kids almost, or everybody has now, almost too much information. You can watch your races straight away. Everyone's filming and stuff. Obviously it's for the better, I would say. But in general, no. It's like I would buy maybe a VHS tape from a national a month earlier, or so it wasn't like you could just go back to your pits and start seeing where you messed up. I look back now later, like, oh geez, I had a big fat comp-free tire on the front, and what the hell was I thinking? Or just the baggy stuff we all wore in the 90s. I don't care, but I look back, I'm like, man, we did a lot of things I should have maybe paid more attention to thinking about, which would have helped. But in general, I was very content and happy with my career.
I always wonder how you guys rode such small handlebars. To this day, I don't understand how they rode such small handlebars.
Yeah, for me, that was the feel, and as we got into the early 90s, it was kind of a thing more in Europe. I know it was happening here, but in Europe, it was kind of the cool thing to do. It was people like Levesque and a guy called Nico Dose, the son of Gerrit Dose, who kind of Dylan Clayton, a British rider, one of my good friends and rivals for many years. It was kind of the style, the 80s seat post kind of came down into the early 90s. And at least in Europe, we started using smaller bars and cutting our bars down. And for me, I loved it. It's just like more bike control. Obviously, once you go to the States and you're on the gate next to Townsend or Ellis, then you might, like, oh, I don't know if these little bars are going to do it. But then you would see people like Brian Foster, and guys like that, Craig Reynolds, and some great riders that were kind of, like, okay, well, if Brian Foster's got, narrow bars and he's, a top guy in AA, and then it's okay, But for me, it was feeling good on the bike, and even up to right now, I don't even wear gloves because it's, I should, and it's going to cost me one day, but I just need that feel of just feeling good on the bike. Otherwise, if I don't feel good on the bike, I don't want to do it,
You were going gloveless even as a pro?
Not too much. In Europe, you had to wear gloves. And that's the main reason when I came to the US, like, we always had to have a mouth guard, and we always had to wear gloves. So when we did come out to the States here, and then they're like, you don't have to wear gloves here. It was like, for us, it was like, it was paradise. Like, wow, we're like rebels, and so I did race a lot without gloves, but when I kind of was AA racing every weekend, I realized you're going to be on the ground, every couple of weeks, sometimes at least once a weekend. So it made sense, so I did wear them when I think I was really in the heat of racing a lot, and UCI and anything in Europe, you had to wear gloves anywhere. But the few little opportunities when I didn't, or at the end of my career, like in Vet Pro, I didn't, and right up to today, I don't wear gloves. So, which, is going to bite me one day, I'm sure.
Did you have a rivalry with, I think was it Neil Wood? Didn't you guys have some sort of rivalry going on at one point?
Yeah, me and Neil, we were rivals in, we raced together from 13 expert right through to, Neil turned superclass the same year I did. He turned for the whole season. I turned mid-season, and Neil actually went straight to superclass #1. So I think we battled from amateurs right through to superclass in the UK, and then we came over to the States, and obviously Neil had a great AA career as well. So he was my fierce rival in the UK days, and I also had a big rivalry with Jamie Staff as well, which was more in pro, later 80s, early 90s. Jamie was my big rival in the UK and Europe, and then Dylan Clayton came in a few years after that as well. And between us three, Neil had already moved to the States. There was a lot of other fast guys as well, but I would say Dylan and Jamie were my, kind of rivals, at least in the UK, during that period.
And Jamie went factory Haro eventually, right? Am I right about that?
Yeah, Jamie moved out to the States a year before me. So he came out in 95. He got on Haro. And obviously Jamie had an amazing career as well. He won the NBL pro title 2000. The year I won the Worlds, I think he won it 2001. He won the NBL pro title. And obviously I think he's been number 2 or 3 in ABA in pro. And then obviously he did the velodrome stuff and won the Olympics in 2008 in velodrome, and then obviously went on to be in charge of the US program for many years.
That's awesome.
Dale, your lighting, you look like you're in the witness protection program, bro.
I know it's getting dark. Let me get near the.
He's trying to hide his identity.
Yeah.
There we go.
Oh, that's
good.
So on the, I think Neil was anti-clips, right? He was one of the pros that just wouldn't clip in, right?
Yeah, I lived with Neil as well. So we were both roommates at the time in the when the clips came in, which was 2000, 2001, I think, without really thinking. I think it was 2000 when everybody, I don't know if you guys had already done it, Lopes, King, some of the mountain bike guys, Robin McPherson had already done it. I think it's when Wade Boots came in 2000. It was first year of Nerve, so it was 2000. Boots came in really fast that year, and he clipped him. And I think by the end of the season, the majority of the class had clipped him. But Neil and Robbie Miranda was the Foster brothers as well. Was just a handful of guys that actually never did. And Neil, Robbie did clip in a little bit towards the end of his career, or tried it. But Neil never did it. Yeah.
Were you hesitant to clip in yourself personally, or did you just figured I got to do it?
I personally was okay with it because it helped. I was when the debate was on and off, and we'd all tried it a couple of years earlier. It was all at Orange. Right. I don't know when it was, 98, 99, and most of us were sponsored by Shimano at the time. And they're like, "Look, guys, we're going to bring pedals and shoes down to Orange on a Wednesday night. We just want you guys to try it." So we all tried it. Levesque, Wood. I don't know if Neil did, but Levesque, the Huntington Beach pros at the time, which was a lot of the AA class. We all tried it, but then we all went back on flats and forgot about it. I think it's when Wade Boots came in a couple of years later and kind of just like, oh my God, this guy is so fast and he's clipped in. We have to do it. So myself at the time, I was training with Dave Cullinan, who was a mountain biker. I'd already had a lot of success in mountain biking, but he was still riding BMX, and I was training with Dave, who's my good friend, and he tried to get me to do it, a bunch, a lot sooner than, I did it. But it got to the point where, the boots thing really messed with, I think, a lot of us. It's like, we can't beat this guy. Can't even compete with him. It's just, he was beating Levesque, just, Staff, two of the biggest, Ellis, all these guys. Not Ellis, would already retired, but he just flat out was the fastest guy down the first straight in the class.
Wow.
The way I rode, and this is what, I learned through Dave Cullinan, is like, at least put these clips on and do some sprints out front. He says, go do a couple of sprints with your flats on, then come into the garage. He put the clips on and then go do it again. So we did that. And then I was like, oh my God, I just realized how much, faster it was. So, and the way I rode, I always really use that upstroke. And so for me, even when everybody else clipped in, I still felt like I was closer to Levesque and Allier down the first straight, where normally they'd have, a bike or two bikes on me, maybe down the first straight sometimes. When I was actually clipped in and riding good, I could get a little bit closer to them guys down the first straight through my technique of really being able to use that upstroke. So for me, I was okay with it. Definitely caught a flack, as a lot of us that clipped in, but it was really clip in or start, your exit plan for your AA career.
Did you Dale? Did you run your pedals? You're loose. Did you like a little bit of play, or did you like your clips really tight?
Tight as possible. I mean,
really okay.
I'm kind of duck foot. I like kind of bow legged a little bit the way I ride. So I'm almost clipping out when I'm actually pedaling. So I struggled with it a lot because I couldn't get them tight enough for me. So it cost me a lot of races, a lot of semis, and it was hard for me, but I needed them as tight as possible. Yeah.
Well, Danny and I have had this conversation before, and I always said that when I'm in the gate, or when I was in the gate, my front foot is turned on the pedal, and yes. I could never imagine how I could use a clip and still totally straight on the pedals. It wouldn't feel right for me, but I guess if you do it enough, you get used to it.
Yeah, I'm exactly the same. I think we used to set our cleat a little bit sideways or something to kind of make up for that. But yeah, I clipped out a lot, and but I didn't crash much when I raced. I pretty much knew my levels when I was racing, so I knew I never had to worry too much about crashing by being sketchy or anything. It'd just be like, the odd race move when I would crash. So when I finally worked out, and I really clipped in, or really it was till Maris came 10 years later. And I wish I'd have known this during my AA career when I was clipped in. Maris had learned, and everybody copied off him in the end. His coach, they put a little TIG weld in the pedal. This is like when everybody had Shimano shoes and Shimano clip, everybody was clipping out on these Shimano pedals, which everybody was using. So the Latvians or Maris, they always put a little bit of TIG weld in the clip pedal, and it tightened it up even more. And wow. I got a set of those pedals from Maris as coach, and again I was racing vet then, so it wasn't the end of the world, but they were so tight. I'm like, I wish I'd have known about that when I was AA and clipped in. Yeah,
Daddy, you've never clipped in your life on any pedal, right, Daddy?
No, I've got a massive fear of clipping in, and like you guys were saying, like our Dale was saying, my feet tend to kind of turn out when I'm riding, and I have to consciously keep my feet straight, and so I'm afraid to clip in, and I know when I fall, my foot wants to go down, and I'm so old school. Sometimes I'm going in a turn and my foot wants to come off the pedal. I want to put my foot down, which is not even necessary on today's tracks because you just stick, But on the old tracks, you put your foot down to stabilize a little bit, So yeah, I'm a little freaked out by clipping in. I don't think I could do it.
Danny, when I used to ride mountain bikes with my brother. I used to clip it all the time, but when we started going downhill and getting into some sketchy shit, I would see it and I would unclip on purpose and just go flat on the pedals and slide around a little bit, and then when I get through the rocks, then I'd clip back in again. I would never have been going over obstacles though.
Dale, before I forget, what I wanted to compliment you on that, on your frame. What's it, Divide? Is that what it's called?
Yeah, it's Divide. I devised like a kind of little fun project I started. I don't know what it was, 4 or 5 years ago. It was just kind of, I wanted to learn how to do the merchandise and hats and beanies and stuff. And I hooked up with a good graphic guy in the UK, a guy called Mark Ward. And anyway, we just did the hats and t-shirts for Divide for a few years, and then kind of Mark always like, hey, why don't we try and do a frame and stuff? And I was never really interested in doing the whole bike thing and that. But eventually, through being good friends with Neil Wood, Neil Wood is one of the partners in Cult, the freestyle brand. And that's what Neil does, he's all, spec and making bikes and stuff. And I reached out to a couple people thinking I wasn't even going to ask Neil because I just know how busy they are with Cult. I reached out to a couple people like, hey, would you be interested in, building some frames for us? And it didn't really get a good response. So then I'm like, I'm going to ask Neil right at the end, or just forget about it. So I asked Neil, and he's like, yeah, no problem. So I kind of took myself and Mark took the designs and the stuff which I liked from previous bikes and stuff, and then gave the drawings to Neil, and then Neil tweaked a few bits and pieces here and there. And we made a run of 24 frames, which is like 3 or 4 years ago now.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, I still got
one, right? You're still on one.
Yeah, I'm still riding one. Yeah, I saved a handful for myself, and I got one for my daughter. She rides one as well. But we're actually in the middle, well, not in the middle, but I've just decided to do another run. We've actually, everything. One of my good friends out here, who's a team manager for our little Divide team, is Justice. Bruce Bernbanger, you might see him on Instagram. So we've just actually put in a new order. Neil, I didn't do it with Neil this time. It's just too hard with the tariffs and stuff. So I'm actually got a frame build. I don't know if do you know Oscar? He lives up your way? Danny?
Last name?
I don't know how to say it.
Anyway,
he just did Jay Rich's TNT, if you guys saw that.
Oh, I've seen that. The yellow TNT, that thing is awesome.
Oscar's done a lot of stuff. He's been around for decades. He does a lot of mountain bike. He's got his own shop. So we're just waiting for Oscar to finish a bunch of bikes he's doing now, and then he's going to do another run of frames. Yeah, so hopefully we'll have him. I don't know when we'll have him. Was hoping to have him by January, but I'm hoping maybe January, February, March. Just for me and a few more buddies, So not really trying to make a business out of it.
I liked it because I saw under your Divide race team, weren't you guys on GTs most recently?
Yeah, we started doing stuff with GT, and then, which would have been the start of this year, we're about to go all in with GT and really help them get back into the race thing over here, or be a bit more of a presence. And it was going to turn into more of a factory team and stuff. And then obviously everything came to a stop, which was basically this time last year. So once the GT thing was over, I'm like, I don't really want to shop any more sponsors and stuff. I've been doing it for so long, and there was no really other bikes I really, was really into, what I wanted to be involved in, or even have opportunity to do it. So I think that's when we said, maybe we'll do a little bit more with the Divide stuff, So that's kind of where we're at with it now,
They're sweet, all chrome Molly. I love them. Go ahead, Kev.
I have a question, Dale. You've been a team owner for several years now, right? You looking back at your experience through the industry, being on a top factory team, being a top rider, do you think that helps you as a team owner or a team manager, like we are a free agent? Does it make you a better manager or a better team owner being a high level pro at your level when you were riding, or is there any downside to it?
I think at the time when I first started, even before I did Divide and stuff, I've always had sponsors and teams. I've got my grassroots program where I do school programs and camps. So I've always had like bike sponsors and stuff. I think it definitely helps coming from the industry. I've had a lot of contacts, a lot of friends, like I say, people that I've raced with are now in the industry, and relationships I've had from when I was racing, right up to they've supported me with what I'm doing with my team or our grassroots program. So it's definitely helped. But I would say right now, this is the worst the industry has ever been. And it's, it's, I don't know. We don't need to get into the whole industry talk and that again. That's not really, I've kind of been slowly moving away from that anyway, knowing it's, it's not really It's not really what I want. I don't really want to be a team manager and setting up at nationals anymore and stuff. I've got my team now where it's just kind of basic. It's just a bunch of old guys, locals. We race state race, the local state stuff, Frogtown, Dirty Fest. And I'm happy just doing that. I'm not really after the GT thing didn't happen. I'm like, I think from then onwards, it's like, okay, I want to stay local, just fun and teams. But the people that do support me, a lot of it has come from like WD-40. I was sponsored with them guys. GT is a racer, and then they supported everything I've done for the last 10 years with all my grassroots efforts and right up to currently what I'm doing.
If I showed you a GT jersey, could you tell me approximately what year it was from?
I can have a go.
I didn't even know you had one in back there. Oh, I think I got a guess on that one.
Okay, 98, 97.
Okay.
I was going to guess 98.
Okay, just checking.
Do you know what it is?
I got it on eBay for $10, so I bought it.
Wow, good deal.
Yeah. So I think I saw on your Wikipedia that you did a little bit of coaching at one point. Are you still coaching or?
Well, I do summer camps in the summer, just out here in San Diego. I basically have a relationship with the YMCA's. So they, which I've been doing over 10 years now. So they do summer camps during the summer. There's a surf camp, there's a skate camp, there's a, let's go to the zoo camp. So we kind of came up with a plan or we pitched him on like, hey, why don't we do a BMX camp? And I started doing that about 12 years ago. I think 11 or 12 years ago now we've been doing it. And so I do that. It's very grassroots. We go out to the track and we don't really, I've said this before, San Diego BMX, which is my local track where I do my camps. There's Tyler Brown, who is obviously runs a track, and he has more of a high-end coaching business. So the kids from my program are very grassroots, a lot of new kids, but the ones that do want to really get into it, then I move them over onto Tyler. And
okay, all right. Because I was gonna ask you, is it more challenging coaching a stone cold beginner or an intermediate or an expert that's already acquired the wrong skills?
I like to keep it grassroots at this point. I think this way I'm slowing down my life and I'm trying to not be all in on everything I do. A little bit of team stuff, a little bit of grassroots, a little bit of riding myself. And I've helped people and coached people over the years, but at this stage I need to have fun as well. And I have more fun when I'm working with grassroots because I can ride alongside of them, and that keeps it motivating and fun for me as well when I'm riding with the kids. So that's what I really enjoy.
Beginners. When you say grassroots, you mean beginners.
Beginners, yeah. Some of them have been doing it a couple of years. Some of the kids have been coming to my camps, for 2, 3, 4, 5 years. But it's very grassroots. And like I say, the ones that do go serious or want to do it, then they normally move on to Tyler, which a lot of them have.
What would you say are the fundamentals of BMX racing? The top 3 fundamentals. If a kid was coming off of a Murray or a Next out of a Walmart and wanted to get on the track, what do you think are the fundamentals that they need to learn first on their first day on the track?
Well, obviously, a lot of them, I do have kids that come up. We try not to, we put it in the itinerary, you've got to be able to ride a bike, but sometimes we literally have to learn them how to ride a bike on the parking lot before we put them onto the track, which sometimes I like to do that and it's fun. And I do my school program. I teach a lot of kids to ride bikes, but when I'm doing camp, it's kind of hard because there's a lot of kids, waiting to be on the track. So I try to encourage them to be able to ride a bike before they can come here. But obviously,
I meant on the track. What fundamentals they need?
Yeah, mine are very basic. Like I say, we go through the safety, what you got to, your checks on your bike, your safety, your helmets, your gloves, all the basic stuff. For me, it's just, getting around the track, pumping, how to, turns, how to navigate a turn over jumps, just all the basic stuff that we could all, anybody that's rode BMX could kind of do that. And then we move on through the week a little bit more. We'll go a bit more into, okay, these are turns if we're racing, here are a few different lines. Here's rhythm sections, a couple different things we can do through here for the ones that are a little bit more advanced, and then we move into by Friday. Thursday, Friday, we're working on gates, and then we have little fun races on Friday, which is the 50-day camp. So most kids come for a week, and by Friday, I pretty much since I've been doing it, most of the kids are, majority, I'd say 99% of them are racing little fun races by Friday afternoon.
Okay,
That's awesome.
Cool, man.
All right, man. I think I'm ready for some trivia, unless you guys.
Yeah. I want one more question, and before we get into trivia, Dale, Danny and I, we are the factory intermediates. We've never been on a factory team. The dream of every kid or every bike shop, right? I was a bike shop guy, bike shop team. We all want to be on a factory team, and we all know the pluses of a factory team. The travel, the women. I'm kidding on the women. The travel, the money. I'm kidding on the money, but you know what I'm getting at. The notoriety, the magazines. What are the couple of downsides that people don't realize that they have to deal with when they make it to a factory team, being as a top level amateur or as a pro, that these guys that are aspiring to get there, that in store for them when they get there? What do you think is the biggest challenges?
I mean, there's a lot, maybe even more so now for these kids coming up, with social media and more eyes on them. And then I look at a lot of things that I didn't do correctly, or I should have done this or should have done that off the track. The way you speak to people, wearing all for me, when I've done teams, and I learned this from the early days of GT, wearing your GT t-shirt throughout the weekend. If you're not on the track, you still get your GT t-shirt on. You're in the pits. You look as a team. And I think that just looks good when you see a team where they've all got off-track stuff as well. I've always believed in that, supporting your co-sponsors. So say if you've got 3 or 4 different co-sponsors, make sure you got a t-shirt or a shirt, hat with all those guys, represent them. I think for kids now, obviously, you got to add in the social media thing, which is challenging and tough for today's riders, I think.
That's expected, right? That's part of the plan. When you get on a factory team, you're expected to pump your sponsor on online, right?
I think every team's different. And again, I don't pay too much attention to the current, teams that are probably racing USA BMX, but I would think, probably a Rift or somebody, there's social media involved in that, being a team, and your online presence as well. Obviously, with kids or younger kids, it's how to, you got to work with the parents as well. It's got to be hard and challenging, and to do that, and there's only so many, at least as they get a little bit older, that have got away with not doing the social media and stuff now. But I think the more is it going, whether you like it or not, that's the way it is now, and you got to represent online as well, So, I think that there's a lot for me, being professional, wearing your team stuff, supporting the people that support the team. It's like if you're sponsored by a certain tire manufacturer, you don't want to have the opposite tire on. When you get pictures that are on Facebook and Instagram and websites, your sponsors are looking at your bike to see if you've got the right thing on, so it's always supporting the sport, the sponsors and stuff, which support the team. It's a two-way street, like they help you, you help them, so.
Absolutely. There you go. All right, Danny, are you ready to, Dale, be easy on me, bro.
All right, man. So we don't want to keep Dale all night, but I got some good questions, man. So Dale, the way this works, you can pick a BMX category, or you can say I'll pick pop culture. If you miss it, Kevin can steal it, and vice versa, and it's just 1 point per question. I have no bonus questions today. I just realized that when I was done. I'm like, I didn't do bonus. So it's just going to be 1 for 1. That's about it. That's pretty easy.
Okay.
Yeah,
All
we
right.
did
A virtual handshake, Dale. Virtual handshake. Okay.
We did this all last year, Dale, and then we did. We had a championship recently. We gave Jason Chang, factory mongoose rider, won the championship. We gave him $200 for
wow.
championship. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
technically I won, but I abdicated my throne.
Yeah, it was pretty fun. All right, so Dale, you're the guest. You get to go first. Do you want to do BMX or do you want to do pop culture?
BMX.
All right, here we go. In 1983, what company made the hand grenade grips?
Holy crap.
Tough one.
Is that like the weird look shaped ones for your fingers?
They're kind
in
of
England, it was called
wears on them.
if I'm thinking in England, we had a grip like that. It was called Cobra. I'm sure it was called something else here. We just ripped off whatever they were doing in America. So I don't know. I don't think I know that one. So I pass that to Kevin, right?
What's the question, Danny? You broke up.
It was what company made the hand grenade grips?
ODI.
Ooh, good guess, but it was actually Uni. And that's what it looked like right there.
Yeah, I'd
Okay.
have never got that. That.
Yeah, and when I saw that, I go, I don't think that was a very popular grip because
I've
Uni
never heard
for the seats. So I was like, I'll take it. Let's see if anybody knows it. All right, so nobody got that one, and then we're back to Kevin. What do you want to do, Kevin? I knew you were going to say that. What wall famously fell in 1989?
The Berlin Wall.
The Berlin Wall. Good job, my man. All right. Dale, don't get intimidated. He's pretty good at this. He gets to play a lot. What do you want to do, Dale?
Let's do pop culture, then I'll give it a go.
All right. Boy George was the lead singer for which band?
Culture Club.
Culture Club. Ding, ding, ding. All right. Okay, Kev, your turn. Oh, is Kevin frozen?
He's froze up.
Unless he's just holding that face perfectly still. Come on, Kev. There you are. Okay, Kev, what do you want to do?
Good.
What category you want to do?
Pop culture.
Pop culture. Okay. Johnny Carson's sidekick on the Tonight Show was who?
Art Linkletter.
Nope. I don't know. Dale, do you know?
We didn't get Johnny Carson. I know who he is, but I never watched it.
Ed McMahon. Ed McMahon.
Yeah.
I thought about that, Dale, because I know you probably didn't watch a lot of US TV, so I was like, oh, how do I make this fair?
Yeah,
Like,
music. I'm okay with music, but TV shows we didn't get a lot of your stuff back then, like at least late 70s, early 80s. You know.
all right, no problem, because I only have about 3 more non-music questions. After that, it's all music.
Good.
Okay.
Good.
All right, okay. Okay, so it's going back to Dale. Which one to do, Dale? Oh, no, it's Kevin's turn, right?
No, it's Dale's turn.
Oh, you guys both missed this. Okay, yeah, it is. Go ahead, Dale.
BMX.
BMX. This rider went from Torker to Kuwahara to GHP. Who is the rider?
Talker to Kawara.
To GHP.
Oh, Clint Miller, 1983 world champ.
Clint Miller. Uh-oh, Kevin. That was a tough one, too.
I knew that one. I knew it.
What do you want to do, Kev?
BMX.
BMX. Tim Judge, Toby Henderson, Charlie Williams. What do they have in common?
They all rode for Hutch.
They all rode for Hutch. All right, good one. Okay, back to Dale.
BMX.
In 1983, what company made the PL20 Carrera?
Redline.
Redline. Right on. Good one, Dale. All right, Kev.
BMX.
What bicycle company manufactured their frames out of Oakland, California?
Boss.
Boss. Good one. God, you guys are good. All right, Dale.
BMX.
What company made the mushroom grips?
ODI.
ODI. Looking good. Kev.
What does ODI stand for, Dale? Do you know?
I don't.
I don't
What is
either.
it?
He told me before and I still forgot.
Ornate Design Incorporated.
No, I'd have never known that.
They started out making Christmas ornaments.
Really? I had no idea.
Yeah.
He gets me with that because I always forget. All right, Kev, what do you want to do?
BMX.
BMX. In 1983, what factory team ran Ked's shoes exclusively?
Schwinn.
Oh, that's a miss. Dale.
What was the name of the shoes? What's the
Ked.
question?
AEDS.
No idea.
Diamondback.
Really?
Diamondback and Ked's shoes, yeah.
Oh.
All right. Let's see here. It's back to Kev. What do you want to do, Kev?
BMX.
BMX? Which Patterson brother won the Murray World Cup in 1983?
Brian.
Brian Patterson. You won $10,000 for that win plus contingencies. That's
Did he double
nuts.
or didn't he like double or triple?
I think he tripled because they said it was one of the best performances ever. And that was at the Murray World Cup. Damn. Hey, did you ever have a win like that, Dale, at all, where you got a massive payday like that out of a win?
I mean, I've had some good paydays. I think I tripled 2 or 3 times over the, with Cruiser, Open, and Double A. Yeah, there's some definitely. I think with bonuses and stuff, I think my best might have been a triple double. And I think with bonuses and stuff, that would have been actually on. Well, I did it on. I think I did it on GT and on Nerve. I think with bonuses and stuff, and my bonuses with Nerve were better than GT. I think a triple double would have been about 7 or 8 grand weekend with everything. Yeah.
That's a good payday right there, man.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, so we're back to whose turn is it?
Dale.
Dale, what do you want to do?
BMX.
BMX. In 1983, Billy Griggs raced for what factory team?
He rode for everybody, didn't he? Schwinn, CW.
What's your final answer?
Well, Jack Wellesley was on Schwinn, which was 82. I'm just thinking of that final where he's pedaling on the air. He's on CW. 83 is the one which I just posted one of the finals with Darwin Griffin. So I'm going to say 83 Schwinn.
Oh, what do you think, Kev?
CW.
CW. You had it right the first time, Dale. It was CW.
Well, he was on CW in 82 as well then, right? Because the Rennie Roca Tropicana Hotel, Billy's on CW there, I think.
He is. So I'm going to give Dale that one too, Kev. So you both got it right.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, because I pulled it out of a magazine, and then I realized Dale's right. He did both. Okay.
Danny, full disclosure, you've asked me this question before.
Some of them yes, some of them no, because I was really digging. I looked at 1983, 1985, and 1989. So I was looking at 3 different magazines, and I was really trying not to get the one.
The first time you asked that question, I said mongoose, and I knew it, so I knew it was a mongoose. Go ahead.
Okay. So in whose turn is it?
Mine.
Now, what do you want to do?
BMX.
Okay. In 1989, Greg Hill was back on the firm for what factory team?
Robinson.
Okay, good job, bud. It's 6-5. You guys are neck and neck. Dale's letting go.
we're banging little bars, dude.
All right, Dale, what do you think?
BMX.
In 1989, Shelby James raced for what factory team?
Mongoose.
Good job. Okay. All right, Kev, what do you want to do?
BMX.
In 1989, what factory pro brought Skyway back?
What year?
1989. Mister, you've asked me these questions before. Blah, blah, blah.
No, I never heard this one before.
Look at Dale's ready to steal, dude.
Okay, 10 seconds, I'll get it. Charlie Williams.
Oh, it's a miss. What do you think, Dale?
Rick Palmer.
All right. Dale takes the lead. 7-6. How's it going? Dale, it's your turn again.
BMX.
BMX. Man, you guys race through these BMX questions. All right. During the Kellogg series, what UK pro upset the US pros on day 1?
Is this me or Kevin?
That's you, bud.
Oh, this is easy. This is actually my sister's boyfriend, Geth Shooter.
Whoa, that's your sister's boyfriend?
If you watch the video, my sister kisses him at the finish line. Yeah. It's not now, but it was. Yeah.
I actually saw that because I reviewed that race. What? Yeah. That is awesome, man. Yeah, I was gonna tell you, it's like he was looking really, really good. And do you think it had something to do with the wet weather that he dominated because the track was wet, or was it because the next day he was still fast, but the U.S. pros kicked it in?
He definitely helped be in the rain. You know, California pros racing in the rain in England is definitely a bit of a disadvantage. But for for how fast Geth had only been racing a year, 2 years maximum. Yeah, he was like, his nickname was the Natural. He was just like naturally gifted on a bike. Still good on a bike now, is just very never trained, partied, just naturally good on a BMX bike, good at jumping, good at skate park. He was just good at everything. And he had nothing to lose, he was happy if you read the interviews and stuff at the time, he was happy to make the main. He had nothing to lose. I think he was coming second behind Stu. Probably Stu might have been a bit conservative, maybe. But you know what? Win's a win, and the UK we're claiming that one. That was a big deal for our history, So
yeah. Not to steer off this game, but I saw a pretty. I felt bad for Gary Ellis. He ran into the finish line post, like, bam! He hit it hard. Did you see that?
No, that was Geth. Geth dived on that second race. Geth dived on Ellis on that last turn for fourth, I think it was. And the finish line was on a turn, so they were drifting anyway. But Gary hit the post, and my friend's mom, Darren Wood, his mom, Maureen Wood, is the finish line lady there that you see in the clip with her. Yeah.
That is crazy, man.
Wow.
All right, well, it's back to Dale. Dale has a small lead.
It's my turn now.
All right, so he got the? Oh yeah, it is your turn because that was his. Okay.
Man, come on, bro, you're messing everything up.
I'm only human.
BMX.
All right. What factory team did Geth Shooter race for during the Kellogg series? It's a U.S. factory team, Kev.
Yeah. Hutch.
At least. Oh, what do you think, Dale?
Oh, easy. Red line.
Red line. All right. We're moving on, guys.
I think this is going to end up when I raced you at Dirty Fest 1. I think this is going to end up the same way.
All right, Kev, what do you want to do?
BMX.
Oh, wait, you missed, right?
Yeah, Dale's turn.
Oh, it's Dale's turn. Go ahead, Dale.
BMX.
Prior to Skyway, what factory team did Sherry Elliott race for?
Ooh, before Skyway?
Yeah.
So that would have been early 80s, right?
Mm-hmm. Her and her brother were on there.
Oh, my God. You got me.
What do you think, Kev?
Cool horror.
Boss. They were racing for Boss. Nobody got that one.
No,
okay, we are down to one BMX question. Then after that, it's all pop culture.
Okay, all right.
What do you want to do, Kev?
BMX.
BMX. What factory pro was known as King Edward?
Eddie King.
Eddie King. That was an easy one, you weasel. All right. We're on to pop culture, guys. The score is 7. Kevin's got 7. Dale's got an impressive 9 for his first time playing pop culture. All right, what do you want to do, bud? Oh, we're going to go straight to pop culture. Are you ready, Kev?
Wait, it's a Dale's turn?
Yeah. Okay, Dale, you ready?
Yep.
Okay, what fragrance in the 1980s became famous or infamous for its dramatic and surreal commercials?
I wouldn't have seen them, so no idea.
Yeah, what do you think, Kev?
Calvin Klein.
Okay, but what cologne was it? You're halfway there.
Obsession.
Obsession. I can't believe you got it. When I was writing that question.
Hold on.
Yeah, I was like, nobody's gonna get this. So when I was writing that down, and I was like, oh crap, you got it.
Well, no,
okay.
Hey, normally I'm an English leather type of guy, but I got the obsession.
If you're still wearing Obsession, then yeah, dude, you please change your cologne. That's all I got to do.
For the longest time, it was Drakkar, right? In the 80s, everybody had to have Drakkar.
Dude, I used to rock the Polo cologne in the 80s. I thought I was
okay, yeah, me too, Polo, yeah.
All right. Okay, so let's see.
My turn.
All right, let me ask you this, Dale. Are you familiar with Eddie Murphy?
Yeah, I saw him, but we was in Hawaii on vacation about 10 years ago, and he was in our hotel. and he was just hanging out by the pool on the phone. And he got off the phone. I said to my wife, I'm going to get I'm going to see if I can get a picture with him. I said, hey, Eddie, big fan. Can I get a picture? He looked at me. He's like, no.
Really?
Oh,
Yeah. I was like, never liked him again after that.
Oh, wow.
oh man.
Yeah.
So this is
It's my turn, Danny.
Huh?
I stole Dale's question.
Oh, okay. Eddie Murphy got his big break through what TV show?
Saturday Night Live.
Saturday Night Live. All right. Oh man, if I ever run into Eddie, Dale, don't worry, I got your back. I'm like,
No, I mean, I still love all his stuff, man. He's a funny guy.
all right. Let's see. We're going back to Dale. Magnum PI drove what type of car in his show? So Tom Selleck in Magnum PI, what kind of car did he drive?
With his mustache.
Yeah.
I caught the tail end of that. Is that the car that Ronnie Anderson didn't get?
Oh no, you're not. That wouldn't be it.
No.
It's a big time. Well, let's say it's an exotic type car.
Yeah,
Take
I'm
a
not
guess.
good with American cars. I'm not a car guy, so I don't know.
What do you think, Kev?
Ferrari Testarossa.
Yeah, well, it wasn't a Testarossa, but it was a Ferrari 3.0 something or other. I would have just accepted Ferrari. Okay. All right, so we're tied up. So the rest of these questions are music, so it should keep things pretty even at this point because Dale's pretty familiar with the music, right?
Taking the gloves off. Here we go.
All right, it's tied up.
We're going,
All right.
we're going into the main.
All right.
We're going to the main.
You've been
All right.
watching pop-up video, VH1?
I used to like that show, by the way. All right, Kev, are you ready?
Is it?
Or is it Dale's?
It's my turn.
Okay, Living on a Prayer was sung by who?
John Bon Jovi.
John Bon Jovi. All right, that's good. Okay, Another One Bites the Dust was sung by who, Dale?
Queen.
Queen. Good job. Okay. Love Shack was by who?
The B-52.
Kevin. B-52s. All right. You guys are good with music. Uptown Girl was sung by who, Dale?
I know it. The Piano Man. Billy Joel.
Billy Joel. I still haven't found What I'm Looking For was sung by what band, Kev?
U2.
U2. Karma Chameleon was sung by who? Dale.
Camila is Boy George again.
Boy, George, you guys tied 12-12. That was awesome. I'm going to leave it in the tie because I love when it ends in tie.
That was fun.
Hey, Dale. Awesome, dude. I really enjoyed talking to you, man. I know we had a chance to talk a little bit at, I met you at Frogtown.
Yeah.
And then we talked a little bit at Dirty Fest. And it was awesome. And I saw Jason Richardson, and he was riding by. I go, oh, Dr. J. He goes, hey, what's up? And it looked like he was going to come talk to me, but he got second thoughts, and he kind of rode off. And I go, oh, I should have told him to come talk to me because I'm a big fan of his, too. I love your guys' show, man.
I'm sure he would come and do this show. Yeah, he loves trivia as well.
Nice. So before we let you go, Dale, we totally skipped over BMX Weekly in my book. I wanted to go deep on it. But if you want to tell people out there what you do at BMX Weekly and let people know how to find your podcast, it's a great podcast. And you were like the Lewis and Clark of BMX podcast, right? So if you could share what you do, that'd be great, man.
Yeah, BMX Weekly is like I shared earlier. It's just kind of a name I use. We do a podcast. I also got a website, bmxweekly.com. I just put. It's basically stuff that I like, mid school, old school, a little bit of, I call it old school, mid school, today school. It's a little bit of everything. And we do a podcast as well. Yeah, I do podcasts with different people. If I'm doing a UK one, I do it with my good friend, Paul Roberts. If I'm doing current racing, I do a lot with Tyler Brown and Dr. J. He's normally good for everything, and it's just for fun. Just a place to put my stuff out there. And I've always enjoyed, websites, social media and stuff. So we got a Facebook page. I post a lot of old videos. I've got a lot of old videos and magazines. So I post stuff on the YouTube or on the Facebook page sometimes. and we get some good traction. So yeah, check it out. BMX Weekly, Facebook, Instagram, and our website, bmxweekly.com, and all the Apple, Spotify stuff for the podcast.
You're on YouTube as well, aren't you, Dale?
YouTube as well, yeah. And I was telling Kevin earlier before you came on, I want to try and do a bit more YouTube stuff this winter as well. So I'll throw some old videos on there, and I did some stuff at Dirty Fest last year or this year. So yeah, I'll try and do a bit more YouTube stuff like what you guys are doing. Hopefully in the next during the winter,
Hey, Dale, you know how I know? You know why I know that your show is top levels, because you have an actual microphone when your guys interview people.
Yeah. I try. I mean, we're all trying different stuff, and microphones, and you got to use this and you got to do that, and I bought all the gimmicks and everything. But what I did is I talked my wife into, hey, you should do a podcast. So she went all in and bought everything. So I'm benefiting my wife of getting into the podcast thing. And so yeah, we got microphones, and we got the table here. It's all behind me here. But I do a lot of my stuff with my phone as well. I think a good iPhone's just as good as well. So
I agree. What kind of a podcast does your wife do? You want to plug it?
Yeah. She only just started doing it last few months. It's called the San Diego Edit, and she just like local stuff within San Diego. She's in a lot of she's in the charity kind of stuff and giving back, and so she shares stories on local businesses and some of her friends that have do some cool stuff on that. So yeah, she's about 10 episodes in, and it's pretty cool. It's called the San Diego Edit
on YouTube.
I follow her on Facebook.
No, it's on Apple and Spotify right now. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I will say this: Dale's wife's podcast is pretty good. I caught a couple of them because I follow her on Facebook.
Right.
And I was like, man, Dale's wife is beautiful and all her friends are beautiful. I'm like, I need to hang out at Dale's house.
Yeah, come over and do a podcast.
That's funny, man.
She's a really good speaker. She's done a lot of events and stuff over the years. So the podcast thing made sense for her. It's like me. We're good at talking about BMX. That's about it. So,
yeah.
And music.
Yeah.
Dale, before I let you go, man, we are honored to have you on and talk to us and share your stories. That we've only scratched the surface. I know that Danny has about another 25 questions on that paper in front of him, at least.
Yeah.
But Dale, thank you very much. It's been a pleasure, man. And keep doing what you do. You set the bar for BMX podcasting that only Danny and I can hope to reach. So thank you for what you do, bro.
Oh, thank you. I'm just doing my little bit. I think there's a lot of cool podcasts in our little community, more of the old school, mid school stuff. Obviously the Godfather's got to be Hollywood Mike Miranda, and I love what Mike does. I love what you guys do. And then you got the coffee chatter for the younger guys. And there's so many guys doing cool stuff, so I just think it's great. I listen to all of them. You got the guys that do the stuff, on Facebook and those guys. And I enjoy watching it all. And it's just a bunch of old guys talking about BMX because we love it, right?
Right.
We love it, man. Right. All right, Dale, we're going to say goodbye to you. Thank you so much. And hope we have a good night. And now you can go eat dinner, bro.
Thanks, guys. That was a lot of fun.
All right, man. Peace out. Nice playing.
You too. See you guys.
Man, that was awesome, dude. That was so fun.
Dude, man.
Yeah, I love that guy.
We have a new high water mark, dude.
Yeah. That was so much fun, man. You nailed it. I had a lot of questions, man, and I didn't even get to them because every time I asked him something, it led to another thought, and I wanted to know more. And I was like, he's got so much knowledge about the sport. It's just like unbelievable. I loved it.
It's a totally different vibe from what we normally do, right?
Yeah,
it's like a fresh perspective because we're all talking about the fun stuff, whatever, and he's serious and talking real BMX, real time. It's just so cool, dude. Like, I was just like, wow, this guy really knows what he's fucking talking about.
Yeah. That was awesome, dude.
That was awesome. Great, man.
Now we got to go after Jason Richardson. So, Jason, if you're listening, man.
Maybe you can hook us up.
Yeah.
Dude, so anyways, we've had some pretty cool comments lately. Have you seen any of these comments?
Yeah, actually quite a few, man. It's like there was a gentleman that commented on one of our shorts from our show, and he was just like, how do I get to you guys? How do I watch more of it? And I didn't write his name down, but I thought, oh man, just go onto the BMXPERTS podcast on YouTube, and there's tons of stuff on there. Because he was commenting on the Red Devil episode. He really liked it. So I was like, oh yeah, so it's we're getting some, I think we're starting to build some momentum, and we're definitely going in the right direction. Yeah. Did you read any of the comments?
Dude, Dale's still there. He's listening. Hold on. Dale, can you see us? Are you there? Oh, maybe not. Anyways, dude, there was a gentleman that left like a 3-paragraph comment saying, I love what you guys are doing. You guys are bringing back, you're my favorite podcast. Very, very, very popular, very positive comment. A lot of people are saying that we're doing the right thing. One guy wants us to do a call-in show.
Oh, okay. That's a good idea.
I was like, well, for us to do a call-in show, we'd have to be live.
Yeah, we got away from the live stuff, but I mean, I'm not opposed to doing live, but because we had a rough start this afternoon, I had some connectivity issues and we had to keep restarting. So that's the only reason I'm not a big fan of the live thing. But I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to it either if you wanted to do something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that, anyways, hold on. Oh, there he goes. Yeah, dude. So it's been a great couple weeks. We're up to 1160 on the subscribers here. And how are you looking over on what you do?
970 so far. So it's I got to the 960s and went through them real fast, and I'm stuck at that 970 number. But just gonna keep grinding, keep putting out content. And when we do a show, it kind of inspires me to do another video, So and I'm really dabbling in with the shorts more and more, because you said it yourself, man. We have so much content. If I just go through your channel or my channel, there's just hours of content that we can take and create shorts with. So I mean, it's actually kind of cool. We're creating our own machine in a way.
Yeah, that's fun. Okay, man. So when you're not with me, where are you and what do you do, bro?
I am on YouTube, the Danny Pena BMX Racing on YouTube. I do magazine reviews such as this right here. I use them all the time. Race reviews, all BMX content all the time. That's it.
And if you like support the BMXPERTS Podcast, you can go to BMXPERTSPodcast.com and you could grab some merch, or you could subscribe to the channel, or you can subscribe to the channel here. And if I've been a little bit I've been sick. I was deathly ill for the last couple of days, and I totally had I could not talk at all.
Yeah, I can attest to that. You had no voice on Friday night.
Dude, have you ever seen Legends of the Fall?
Yes, I have.
Where he writes what he writes down on a chalkboard. I thought that was gonna be the rest of my life. I was gonna have to have a chalkboard with me. I thought.
Let me say something to Kevin. Kevin's calls me. He goes, "I'm afraid my voice is gonna get stuck like this forever." I'm like, "Dude, you have laryngitis. You'll be fine." And then when we knew we were gonna have Dale on, and I said, "Are you sure you don't want to just bump to next week?" And he goes, "No, man, we're doing it." And I was like,
"Man, we're going for it."
Kevin called me Friday a couple times. On Saturday, he called me, and his voice was starting to get better, and I can hear his wife talking in the back. You guys were both talking to me, and I'm like, and she's like, "He needs to rest his voice." But anyway, man, you did good, man. I know you're not feeling your best, but you stuck it out.
Thank you very much for watching, everybody. And once again, you can subscribe and support the channel. And Danny and I are going to keep doing our thing, and we hope that you were entertained. Probably not, but thank you for coming by. We hope, and we want to put one more thanks out to Dale Holmes for taking the time to joining us. And thank you for playing trivia with me, us. It was great. Thank you very much, everybody, for watching. And is that all, Danny? All you got?
That's it, man. Track is closed, as you would say.
Peace out.